Have a good war, everybody. Let's get a good crash on B point. Meet them on the top edge of point. We don't want to fight on our side of point. We want to fight on their side of point. Set a good... And healers, group healers, let's really work on our sacred placements this time too. Let's get some good work on having good sacred coverage throughout the point. A is ticking, that is totally fine. Play your lives, get your ultimates up. That's what we're doing here. We're just charging ultimates and not dying. Those are the goals. We don't need to kill anybody, we just need to charge ultimates and not die. Okay, quad groups, pull back towards point a little bit. We are not gonna chase them to their war camp because we got stuff to work on. Let's set up in our quads, set up on point. 1 and 2 should be standing on the circle, and each quad group should be in your quad within 2 dodges distance of the point. And then kill squads 8, 9, and 10. Seal them off from going to C, but let them get out of war camp because we need them to get to the point. So 1 and 2 on point, quads in your quads. I will start calling people out by name if you're not where you're supposed to be. You got about 30 seconds, and I'm going to start calling people out or kicking them off the roster so we can get some work in. 8, 9, and 10, get the hell off their war camp right now. Everybody move. Walrus, get out of here.
Yeah,
Croc's running away. Good job. Okay, Walrus is running away. Okay, there we go. They're all shooting me. Ow. I didn't plan ahead very well for this. Well, dim nameplates don't work now, so I had to go stand next to them to read their nameplates to yell at them. Okay, C's ticking a little bit. 10, make sure we got C cleared off. Call it out if we need more rotates than just 10 to clear it off. Okay, looks like we got C under control. Okay, an important thing we want to work on here is we want them to create the initial clump for us. So only 1 and 2 are playing on point, and even 1 and 2 play the edge of point. And then the quad groups, you need to be far enough away from point that you're not creating clumps on the edge of point. You want to play a little bit off of point in your quad, control the space of your quad. That's going to suck more for 3 and 5 right now since they're going to be respawning from that side. 4 and 6 will be relatively safe, but we want to let them create their own clump on point so that then we can nuke that clump. So we got to fall back. We got to fall back. Otherwise, we're not going to get any work in and we're not going to improve. We need to let them get to point so that we can call a crash and actually work on our crashes that we were bad at last time. So everybody fall back and get your ultimates up. The only thing we should be doing right now is charging up our ultimates. Make sure you got your ultimates charged up. We're going to let them do a... C's ticking pretty hard. Any call outs from 10? Any kill squad want to give me a call out? What we got on C?
We got 15 on C.
Okay, so we're going to rotate to
Maybe
C.
10, maybe 10. We killed a few.
That's okay. Let's clear them off. Let's clear them off. C's are 1 point hold, so let's clear them off of here. Give me 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like we talked about. Let's do the full rotate over. We got 3, 5, and 7 staying. 3, 5, and 7 staying on B.
Okay, unfortunately,
Wipe them on C.
They decided to go in the middle of the clump, and they are no longer on C.
Yeah, there we go. C's fine. If we clear a point like C and B is not hard ticking, buy cleanse pots while you're at C. Take advantage of the fact that there's an empty point where you can buy cleanse pots at the flags when you've taken a flag. So, or when you still own the flag. So take advantage of that. Okay, everybody charge up your ultimates. We're gonna let them get to point and we're gonna do a crash. I want all of us, if you're not in group 1 or group 2, I want you off of point. Group 1 and group 2 should be the only ones on point until we call the crash on point. I don't want us creating a bunch of clumps on point. If we create clumps on point, that's a chance for them to kill us. Move like water in your quad. Here we go, top of point in 3, 2, 1. Abilities top of point, abilities top of point, abilities top of point. I care more about us coordinating our ability usage right now than I do us actually killing people who exist. So even if they all melt, do your full combo. Practice the crash combo and make sure that we're getting the practice in. Work on good habits. Work on good habits. Bottom quad groups, especially if there's nobody on point, keep an eye on our road. Make sure there's nobody wrapping around behind that you need to help clear out. So that's group 5 and group 6. Be aware of that. Group 5 and group 6. Be careful with Limbo's tank on point. That's a good example of exactly what a tank is trying to do, which is get a bunch of us right around them, smacking them, because that gives them a chance to then call a crash on the clump of us all smacking a tank. And if they get 5 kills for 1 tank dying, that's a win for them. So just be aware of that. Don't necessarily overcommit to smacking a tank who's standing on point. If they are a good tank, they will be extremely hard to kill without a full crash. So just let them stand on point and stare at our tank. They can hold their shields up and look at each other. Don't create a clump for them to crash. Okay, everybody fall back. Everybody fall back. We got pushed up again. We got pushed up again. Everybody fall back. Everybody fall back. We need to let them reset. Let them bring it to point. Everybody fall back. We'll give it about another couple minutes here, and then at the 20-minute mark, we're going to give B, and we're going to just 1-point hold C and practice all of our mechanics over there. So let them regroup, and then we'll probably do one more crash practice on B, and then we're going to go over to C and do it. So everybody get your ultimates charged up. Everybody get your ultimates charged up, and then we're going to do a round of practices here. So do your light attacks, buy some cleanses, whatever you need to do. Okay, so 8, 9, and 10 go to C. 8, 9, and 10 go to C. I know there's only like one person there, but 8, 9, and 10 go to C just to create a fight on B that's reasonable. 8, 9, and 10 go clear off C. 8, 9, and 10 go clear off C. And 8, 9, and 10 go ahead and stay on C because we're going to come join you after we get one more crash in here. So everybody fall back, everybody fall back. Let them crash point so we can practice crashing. Here we go. Everybody come back to point. Everybody come back to point. Everybody come back to B. 8, 9, and 10, stay on C. 8, 9, and 10, lock down C. And then main ball, we're going to practice on B point here. Let them come to point. Let them come to point. We want them to create clumps on point. They're trying to wrap bonds, so group 4 and group 6. Group 4 and group 6, I need you on bonfire. Group 4 and group 6, push off of point and towards bonfire. Group 4 and 6 on the right side there, you guys need to get control of bonfire. Group 4 and 6, push off of point, get control of bonfire. There we go. There's a low health guy named Pizza Monacan. There you go, he's got to die. Kill these low health people. Grassy was talking about that with the bruisers. If you see somebody low health, call them out. In your group comps, call out the people who have low health. Joe, what else in the road? There we go. Saints group killed him. Good job, guys. There we go. Okay. Everybody reset to your quads. Reset to your quads. We're gonna have them push into the point now. We're gonna have them pushing into the point when they get their next respawn here. And then we're gonna, after we get one more crash practice on B here, we're gonna reset and just go to C and let them have B. Let's see, group 7, you guys are probably gonna have to take it easy on them for a minute. Just like go stand on our ramparts for a second or something. Because they're having a hard time pushing through you guys, so.
Sorry, did you call something for 7 there, Evan?
Just to go stand on our ramparts so that they can get to point. Because you guys are killing too many of them. They're actually in our road now in decent numbers, so 5, 6, and 7, prio our road and clean that up. 5, 6, and 7, prio our road. Let's clean that up. There we go. 5, 6, and 7, clean up our road, and then now we're gonna do a crash on point in hopefully about 10 seconds. In about 10 seconds, there should be enough of them grouped up that we can hopefully do a crash. So get your ultimates ready, and when they actually push in here, we will do a crash. Give them a second. They've got some respawns coming in. As soon as these respawns push into point, we are going to do a crash on the left-hand side. Got about 5 seconds. Left-hand side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody crash left, crash left. Ability combos left, ability combos left, ability combos left, and then get out alive. Run your abilities and then get out alive. There we go. Everybody scatter, scatter, scatter. Once you've used your ability combo, get out, because all you're going to do then is die. And we don't want that to happen. Okay, 20-minute mark. We got one more good crash. We're gonna go to C now. So, everybody, let's go to C. We're gonna go practice the 1-point hold. And 8, 9, and 10 were kindly not pushing out. We'll at least come over here so that hopefully they wrap to Oppo Bonfire, and 8, 9, and 10 can get some practice killing people in Oppo. Mm-hmm. Here we go, here we go. Everybody buy at the flag, get plenty of cleanse spots. Nobody should be on B anymore. Nobody fighting on B anymore. Everybody to C. Everyone C. Okay, so 7, control our ramparts, focus on our ramparts so that they can at least move through Bonfire a little bit. And then hopefully they wrap around so that 8, 9, and 10 can get some work on their road and Oppo. We basically want to give them a free lane to get past Bonfire on C. I don't want anybody attacking them between B and C because they're not going to get to C if we do. So, everybody fall back. Yeah, everybody fall back. We've got things to work on. These are not... This is practice. This is not the main event. Everybody come back and get the practice you need.
Coming up behind us.
Everybody stop fighting Bonfire. I know it's fun, but we got to actually kill them on point. Let them come to point. Everybody fall back. Group 8, help out Group 7 on ramparts because they're overloading ramparts a bit. 5 and 6 also look towards our road. Bot quads, I need you to look towards our road a little bit, help them out. But I want them to have a basically free passage through Bonfire. We do not want to be fighting them on Bonfire. Make them come to point. We want them to come to point so we can practice clumping them up. Let them move through Bon and get to point. Let them move through Bon and get to point. Grassy, stop bullying Grundle the Wiz. Okay. When their next wave of respawns comes in here, it looks like they're really trying hard to come through our ramparts instead of going through Bonfire. It's a bummer. You should definitely go to Bonfire. Okay, everybody fall back so that they can reset, so that they can push in, so that we can get some more crash practices. Everybody fall back. Everybody fall back. I know it's less fun, but winning's more fun, so we gotta practice so we can win next time against cats. Dim just said the word martini, and now I'm jealous. I wish I had whiskey right now. Okay, Dim, I'm gonna stand in the sacred and pour myself a bourbon. But everybody let him get to C. I'm gonna call a crash after I get a bourbon, and then we're gonna practice while I drink. So I need like 10 seconds. Dim, keep a sacred on me.
Coming through for the a little bit.
Boring as fuck.
Okay, C Point is brought to you by Yellowstone Bourbon, which is gonna help me finish this out. They are hard committed to this ramparts push. Not sure why. But I'm fine with it for the moment, because if somebody did want to hard push our ramparts, bottom quads and kill squads would be responsible for holding them. So this is what we would do if someone would do this. I just don't know why you would. And
blades of grass.
very, very confusingly, they're they've got like no one rapping any other direction. They're just funneling into the ramparts fight. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I did say we would practice on an empty flag if we have to, and I think we're gonna have to. So, quad groups, I need, so 1 through 6. Kill squads, you guys can occupy them and go do that. But I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to come back to C point, and we're gonna practice crashing the flag as if it's the enemy, or just me actually. We'll use me as the target. So I need quad groups and 1 and 2 on C, and in about 20 seconds, we're going to do a practice crash over here on C point. So I need every quad group standing in your quad, like Savvy's group and Saints groups are. So quads, all the main ball come back to point. Kill squads, you guys occupy the other guys over there. Oh, look, hey, they're coming, actually. We might actually be able to do it to them. Okay. Everybody, let them get... Do not fight them at bonfire. Kill squads, get the hell out of there. Main ball needs to practice, so kill squads, you guys have to let them get to point. Let's practice our sacred placements on point, group healers. Let's get good sacred placement on point. Let's let them get to point here. Let them get to point. Nobody's allowed to touch a red body until they're on point. Let them get to point. Okay. In 3 seconds, we are going... Well, actually, no, they all died already. In a few more seconds, we're going to do another crash on left-hand side. Everybody make sure you got your ultimates up. We're going to do a crash on bonfire side in about 10 seconds when they come back from respawn. We're going to have to wait for them to run back because that... they died really fast. Eight, 9, and 10, they're finally wrapping their road into Oppo. So I need 8, 9, and 10. 8, 9, and 10, prio the people trying to wrap their road into Oppo. There we go. They finally have wrapped to Oppo. So 8, 9, and 10 Oppo, 8, 9, and 10 Oppo.
That was funny, she was trying to climb the bed.
Yeah.
And she was like, climb.
Top left.
Okay. New idea. Let's talk war macro while we just kind of kill them wherever they are.
Take more damage, please.
So, everybody just kind of kill them wherever you see them. You don't have to really worry about, like, we're not going to talk about what we're doing specifically right now anymore. We're going to have a more general conversation about war macro in general. So, just have fun and kill them. And I'll stand on C point. I'll let you know if there's a problem. But other than that, let's talk about war macro in general. If anyone wants to help contribute to that conversation, feel free to jump in. But I think the thing that we need to work on the most, probably, in terms of how we...
I'm going at them by
oh, Windsward lost their invasion. Darn, we should have sent everybody to the invasion.
Shove it up their ass. And then we'll join
So,
you.
in terms of war macro, the big thing that we need to work on is coordinating our crashes. Is a big thing that we need to get better at. So, for bruisers and VGIGs in particular, being able to charge up your ultimates and then hold them. Oh, somebody.
I put down the sacred, I put down the beacon, and I also use one green
This is
tick.
confusing. Oh, hey, they are wrapping ramparts a little bit. If you're bored, there's 5 of them in our road/our ramparts. But to continue that thought, so the thing we need to work on is we really shouldn't, in almost no circumstances, unless you're a very experienced bruiser, do we want anyone using your detonates outside of when there's a crash call.
Worth it. I want groups.
And the goal is to hit as hard as possible when we crash as a group and get as many kills as possible when we do that. So get your ultimates charged up. I'll be listening to the point bruisers in group 1 and group 2 in my group comms. That's I listen to them to know when they get their ultimates back up, and that's how I know when the whole army should hopefully have their ultimates back up. So if everybody just focuses on getting your ultimate back up, I'll hear them saying theirs is 90% back, and I'll start thinking about calling a crash somewhere. And as long as everybody's kind of getting their ultimates farmed back up at roughly the same rate, that all generally works out, as long as you aren't using yours in between a bunch. So farm your ultimates back up and be ready to crash. We'll have, you know, the VGIGs and the bruisers from all the quad groups and the point groups involved in the crash. And as soon as bruisers do your combo that Grassy laid out in Bruiser Channel, and VGIGs, you know, come in, do your Scream, Obliv, Orb combo, and if we hit all of those combos, and we hit them with Vines from the VGIGs, and we hit them with Deados from the Bruisers, we will get some kills. It will not be a ton of kills in a competitive war, but it'll be some kills, and that's all we're trying to do. And then as soon as you have used your combination of abilities, you have to get out, because they're going to try to counter crash, and the last thing we want is for them to counter crash and get kills on us. So once you've done that, your job is to get out. It doesn't matter if there's a person standing in the middle of the clump who's 10%. It's not your job as a bruiser or a VGIG to finish them off in that clump. That is the job of our quad DPS and the fire staffs in our army, who have the ability to shoot fireballs and pillars of fire at them from a distance where they are not in the clump, but can still smoke them and be able to do damage. They're wrapping through the woods to C. We're gonna need a little bit of focus on C. There's some red approaching C. That potentially there's more red than there is blue on C. Maybe.
Oh, they're coming down from the rampart side too.
So in terms of the clumps, that's the big thing. Group healers, especially the quad healers in particular, a big thing we need to work on based on the last war is good placement of sacreds around the point. So every quad healer should be casting your sacred on point, ideally kind of like I just did the ice shower that I just did on C, if anybody can see it. I'll do another one here, or where my Obliv's going to be right here, where my Obliv is kind of half on point, half off point in this quad. So ideally, if every group healer throws a sacred kind of on the edge of point in your quad and keeps one there kind of all the time on cooldown, then that gives the whole army a place to go to stand in sacreds. Because when we flee a clump and people have taken damage, your first goal should be to find a sacred to stand in. Because that's going to make your whole life a lot better if you're standing in a sacred. So, keep sacreds on your quad so that, and part of it should be off the point, not fully on the point. You ideally want to have some of it not on the point so that there's safe spots.
Oh, wait. They just spawned. Huge one.
Yeah, Saint raised a good question via message that different quads, depending on what kind of action you're getting, are going to have slightly different paces of getting your ultimates up for the crash. So, especially if you're like bot right quad, like group 6, a lot of times group 6 is going to have the hardest time getting their ultimates back because your quad might have the least people just kind of hanging out in it. Your quad isn't like a super strict thing. You can move around a little bit. You know, don't get super out of position. But in terms of farming up your ultimates, if you need to push up a little bit or push to the side a little bit, you know, trying to find ways to hit somebody to get your ultimate recharging.
Top left.
But at the end of the day, if your ultimate isn't up, you can still do your combo other than your ultimate. So in the case of a bruiser, you know, if we call a crash and your quad doesn't have the in your quad doesn't have the ultimates back up, you can always just use your standard combo, not your Deado combo. So in the case of a bruiser, if I reference the combos that Grassy posted earlier, the main combos post, which I'm pinning right now in the bruiser channel. So you've got your grab, det, auto, mail, but then you've also got the option to use Deado, half heavy, and shockwave. If your Deado's not up, you can still do the grab mail combo or the half heavy shockwave combo. Like you can use whatever resources you have available in the crash
I'm going back to
if your
C.
Deado's not quite back up, and then just keep farming it up for the next one.
There's no point
Because in
chasing.
a truly competitive war that's like back and forth. Oh hey, there's a lot of people on C. Yeah, we're gonna need a little help on C here. Hopefully you bought some hay spots, because there's like 30 of them on C all of a sudden. Okay, let me clarify. There's 30 of them within 100 meters of. Most of them are not on C, but they're staring at C from the woods.
Bye, I'm right behind you. I'm going in.
There we go. Get some kills. There we go. Good work. Good work. So then after a crash happens, the main job of what are called quad DPS, so that's usually like the last person on the list in each of the quad groups, often either a disruptor build or a fire staff, probably going to have a lot of hatchets in those slots short term because hatchet's so broken. So those roles, their job is going to be to clean up the people who are trickling off, the enemies who trickle off the point with less than half health. Their whole job is to pick them up or pick them off and finish the kills. So once we do the big crash, if you're in the main ball and you're a bruiser or a BGIG, you just go right back to farming your next ultimate up, basically. That's immediately your next job, is just to get your ultimate back up and let the fire stabs and hatchets pick up, they'll pick off the people who are mostly dead, who don't quite die in the clump. Because the biggest thing is just getting out of the clump and living. We need to minimize our deaths. That is the biggest thing, especially when wars can get a little buggy, load screens can take a long time. The biggest way to mitigate that is just to die less, and that will prevent you from having a long loading screen. So, yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Nikki, Grassy, Chorizo, Phil, anybody want to add anything in terms of kind of the overall war macro discussion? Grassy, I know you got opinions to give people.
I just think some of the key things that you should know also, because I know this question
Sorry,
came
what'd
up
you say? I was disrespecting someone.
Grassy's going for kill records out here. He doesn't have time for macro.
Yeah, just see if anybody else wanted to talk about macro. Phil has something though.
I was sitting on point too long and I fell so far behind.
The biggest thing also is to understand like the quadrants of it. There's a couple of phrases for it, but just think of the point as a pie, and we're trying to hold 3 points of that pie. You know what I mean? Three slices of it. So like bottom left, bottom right. Bottom is always going to be in the side that we spawn from. So if it's defense, it's fort, etc. And then top will always be their side. Remember that you don't always have to dodge too. That's another pro tip. Is like if you get into a slow, like a gravity well, sometimes you could just jump out of it and you can save your stamina. That's something that people don't really know about and can be practicing. Use OPR to practice your consume usage. That's another thing that I still do to remember to use my consumes. I don't know.
Yep, no, that's a good. Consumes is really honestly the biggest thing that probably across the army we can improve the most on. So it's using your cleanse pots, using your regen pots, and a good way to practice it is to go into OPR with the cheapest food on the market in those slots and just use those as if they're a cleanse spot, even though they're not. So every time you're about to go into a clump, use whatever key you put your cleanse pots on, if it's 3 or 4 or whatever, put something else there and be able to have cleanse pots.
Yeah, I usually use hearty meals and really cheap regen pots. It's just OPR, so hearty meals have a lower cooldown, but whenever you have your regen pot back up, that's when you should be using your Party meal. The other thing is some people don't really know what to calm when they do calm, right? Because I know we did mention about calming. But even something just as, hey, I'm looking bot left, hey, I'm looking bot right, hey, I'm looking top left, top right, whatever. That's also really good to practice so that everyone can be on the same page when they're looking at where, you know, and bruisers. Bruisers should be very vocal in this regard, but VGs can too. So at the very least, start just saying, hey,